Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, let's see what we're going to talk about today. Yep, Vols paddled South Carolina. It was pretty bad. It was another big win for them as far as South Carolina is concerned. Now, look, the Vols have been struggling something awful. They've been shorthanded. Two of their most talented players, of course, Josiah, James, and also Phillips have been out. Now, James played last night, and I've told you folks pretty much all year or all season that James is kind of the glue of this team and has been for a while. And when he plays really well and shoots well, we're really, really tough to beat. We'll probably beat about anybody out there. When he's off or when he's not on the court, we seem to struggle pretty good. And Phillips is also a very talented five-star that we need out there to help our scoring, and he's not been available either with a hip flexor. So with James back after a bad ankle and a knee, and Phillips still out, we were able to handle South Carolina with no trouble at all. Let's take a look at some of the stats. Yep, and as you can see, 85-45, so that's pretty bad for South Carolina, that is. And here you can see on the stats, Ziegler had a nice game, scored 13 points, and he only played 31 minutes, which is much better than the 36, 37 minutes he's been having to play a lot. And I think it was good for the coach to give him a little bit of a break because, I mean, really, he's our one true point guard that we've got, and he's had to play so many minutes. And he's been getting in foul trouble, too, with some frustration. So I think it was good to have him sort of play a different role, not be out there literally every second. Olivier had a nice game, scored 10 points. He's really had his way with South Carolina. Scored over, I don't know, he scored about 20 last time. Meshack had a very nice game, 14 points. I was real pleased with his performance. 5 for 7, made his free throws, made 2 3-pointers, just played a great game. And Vescovi didn't play as good a game as he's been playing at all. Only played 25 minutes, scored like 7 points. But here you see the big name in here is James, only played 21 minutes but scored 18 points. And with him out there, realize he's the one guy that can create his own shot because he's a big guard, wing position type player, and he's tall enough to where if they put a short guy with him that can hang, he can shoot over him. If they put a tall guy with him that he can't shoot over, well, he's faster than them. So he's a real matchup problem for any team that we face. So getting him out there and hitting those threes, look, if he gets hot like he did last year, we're going to be real tough. If he struggles, then, you know, we're back on the struggle bus. But I was glad to see him play really well. And once Daly Plavix played pretty good, scored like 10 points. So it was good to get our tough guy in there. And I think Plavix needs to be playing about 20 minutes. He's just a good guy to have in there when you're getting pushed around. And if you watch that first series, they had a guy that got he got like 5 rebounds in the first series. It was kind of crazy. But then they put Once Daily in there, and that stopped. And that was really important. And Adu kind of, was struggling there, but then he came out and played some good minutes as well. So overall, just a real good victory. And that's the second time we've beaten South Carolina by 40 points or more, which I was looking online. I think that's the first time that's happened in SEC play since like 1950s. It's been that long since somebody dominated another team like this. And look, I'm not going to sit here and pick on South Carolina because the reality is they're starting fresh over. They got a new coach. I know they've got one guy that's really supposed to be really good, but they're really struggling this year. I think their record, they've won like 3 ball games in the SEC all year. So, I'm not going to sit here and just bully on them and do all that because, I don't really want to kick them when they're down. Now, if it was Florida, that would be different because Florida Gators, I would kick. Now, I'm talking about football. I would kick them down every chance I get because, as you know, that is they're my Newman.
Hello, Newman.
Hello, Jerry.
Yep. They're my nemesis, my big-time nemesis. And it's a sports hatred. It's not a true hatred. I actually love Florida, man. I just got back from Florida last week, and that's an awesome place. But they're Gators. I've got nothing positive to say about them. And maybe that's because they won a bunch of games against us. I don't know, but I just don't like the Gators. Carolina, the only thing I'm mad about Carolina is them getting that victory on us and keeping us out of the playoffs. That stunk. Normally, I don't mind South Carolina at all because we usually beat them, but football, we didn't go so well this year, and that was really unfortunate. But you know what? You got to take your victories where you can get them, and we handled their basketball team no problem at all. Now, Carolina JACKPOT, who I did a video on him and Uncle Lou the other day because they were talking about how the Vols football team's a gimmick and all that kind of stuff. And I made a little bit of sport of them after that. And it actually kind of looked like this. This is just a little snippet of it. Because they sound like two parrots sitting on a tree. Quack! Go back to regular. Vols offense is a gimmick. I agree. They need to go back to the way they used to play. Quack! Gimmick. Yep, that's pretty much what they sound like. That's what I hear anyway. So anyway, I was giving him some grief about it, in good-natured grief, and he actually took it pretty good. He wasn't mad or anything because, I talk smack. It's never ugly or anything like that, but I do talk smack about other teams, and they do about us. I like to go behind enemy lines and kind of bring it out and show you. I find that entertaining. That's me. But anyway, I did see a response where actually it was the original game, what we won by 43. And I think since he hadn't come out with a video on this one will do perfectly because it's pretty much the same. It's probably going to be the same tenor.
I I've given up on the South Carolina Gamecocks basketball team, the men's basketball team for the 2022-2023 season. This is just abysmal. If you didn't know, right now they're sitting here with a record of like 7-7 or something. Their wins have come against terrible teams that have mostly been squeakers. And right now they are in the process of getting their doo-doo absolutely pushed in by Tennessee 76-33 in the second half at home. And I get it, Tennessee is ranked number 8 in the country. I understand all that. But the Gamecocks went on the road on Wednesday to Vanderbilt, and they played a game that went down to the buzzer. And Vanderbilt took Mizzou, a ranked team, to the buzzer today. So one could say, well, JACKPOT, maybe they're not that bad. Maybe they're just having a bad game. No, they're that bad. They're awful. I think this is probably, without a doubt, the worst South Carolina basketball team that I've seen since I started watching. And that was back in the very early 1980s. Can't shoot, can't play defense, can't force turnovers, can't do much of anything right. Freshman sensation G.G. Jackson, I guess, is the lone bright spot for the Gamecocks in what has been an absolutely doo-doo season.
So anyway, I would assume that's what he's probably got to say about this most recent one. But he did respond. He did a video on where I had given him and Uncle Lou some grief, and it was pretty funny. He was a pretty good sport about it, and he's done a couple of videos that I found pretty interesting. He did one on his job. I think he owns his own business, and he runs like food, like Utz potato chips and stuff. And I actually watched that video and I watched it because I like stuff like that. I like seeing stuff I'd never seen before. I had no idea what was involved with that. But anyway, he gets up at like 3 o'clock in the morning. That's a guy that doesn't want a boss. If you're willing to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and run a truck, your own truck, and deliver food into grocery stores and stuff like that, you don't want a boss, okay? Because I'm telling you, to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning every day, no, that's no bueno. I find his content pretty interesting, and what he does is the same thing that I do. I like the amateur YouTubers. Now, I watch a lot of the professional YouTubers that are like sports guys, and they do, look, the Vols have some great guys that cover the university pretty much on a regular basis, and I watch a lot of that too. But my preference for, obviously, because I'm an amateur YouTube person, that's what I prefer. So I watch, really, there's a guy down in Florida, High Top Sports. I like his stuff. I've shown you some of his. Carolina JACKPOT, Uncle Lou occasionally. Uncle Lou gets a little rough sometimes for me. But, he's got his shtick. And really, that's a stick. But anyway, he likes doing that. And I've shown you some guys from Missouri, Vanderbilt. I couldn't find really anybody that I liked on Kentucky as far as football. They got a bunch with basketball. And Pittsburgh, and just pretty much if we're playing somebody, it always interests me what the other teams are saying or what the other YouTubers are saying about that team. But anyway, sorry it's been a few days since I've done a video, but I've been working, and I'm just a regular stiff with a job. I've been busy as can be doing that. I've tried to get a couple of sponsors for this channel, but I haven't had much luck at it. I've been trying for a couple of weeks now.
Well, the world needs ditch diggers too.
But, we'll see. Maybe a business will see one of these videos and decide they want to sponsor it or something along those lines. But in closing, I am very pleased to see the Vols. Look, they needed a get-right game, and they got it last night, and that's good because, look, we've been struggling. And, it started out with those two really unlucky games where, look, two teams hit Hail Marys on us, and we had our best free throw shooter in the clutch the last 2 years, which is Vescovy, and he couldn't make one at the very last minute that would have put the game away on ice twice, which is really rare for him. I think he was a lot like this.
Why didn't you just go home? That's your home! Are you too good for your home? Answer me!
Yep, the ball just didn't want to go to its home. And then with the injuries that we had, look, we lost like 5 out of 6, and that really hurt our rankings. But maybe with this get-right game and getting James back, we'll start winning some more games and finish up this season right, go into the SEC tournament, and maybe win it again like we did last year. If James gets hot, Phillips gets back in there, we could absolutely win the tournament. We've done it before with almost the same cast. We do miss Chandler, of course. But I tell you what, with James and Phillips back in there, I think we're going to be pretty tough. We'll see. They got to hit their shots. But I did just want to cover that Carolina ball game and mention Carolina Jackpot as well. If you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's me know to continue to cover the Vols and all our other opposing teams and all that kind of stuff. And if you've not subscribed, it's right here on the left. Just hit that button right there. Cost you nothing. Would help me out. I'd appreciate it. And right over here, YouTube puts my most recent video. I think it's the one where I was giving Uncle Lou and Carolina Jackpot some grief. But look, they were calling us a gimmick, so I had to respond. I mean, come on. Anyway, I hope you did like the content. We'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.